Okay, we're just going to take a few minutes and do a quick review on the Easy Texture Pro drywall texture tool. Now the tool head itself, this is a special foam that we use as a cushion. Now the reason for this is when you're going up against the wall, it can actually give you that little bounce you need that helps pull the texture off the wall. So the tool is basically designed to where to work efficiently and give you that texture that you want. Now, give you a little background on this. Greg and I have about 30 years experience in the construction field. So when we were doing some remodeling projects, we found that there really wasn't a tool out there that would work effectively going over a knockdown orange peel or even a popcorn finish. So we developed our own to where we can go into a house and we're going to take a wall out and the wall's smooth and then the rest of the wall is going to be orange peel or knockdown, and we can just texture over the whole thing and it would blend in. So we've tried different sizes on this, and this works the most effectively because of the shape. We can get into corners and walls and ceilings to where you can just keep going and you're not stuck and going, well, now what do I do? This keeps the project going smooth. Now, when you're working in small areas, like you'll get into hallways, bathrooms, there's another area. You're not going to have as much elbow room behind you. So what we use is we basically take a short handle so that you can keep working and you have room behind you to go into operating in bathrooms and places like that. Now, once you get started in there, you're going to take the plastic applicator, and what you're going to do is just fold that over the top, and it's real easy. Once you get it over the top, you're going to twist it around, and we provide a clip, and now this clip will go right on the end, and what that does, it holds it securely. You want a nice fit with the plastic applicator because if it's real loose, it's just going to sling mud all over the place. So you want a nice tight fit with the cushion on it, so when you hit the wall, it kind of springs back. So this tool is designed to where to work maximum efficiency. Now, when you get into those tight areas and you're working in a location like a bathroom, what we do is take the handle off, twist the applicator around it, put the clip on it. Now, if you're getting around a toilet, a cabinet, medicine cabinet, a place that's kind of tight, you can take it by hand, dip it in the drywall mud, and just dab it on the wall. And then what works real well in a tight area is just a plastic putty knife. Where you can't get the Lexon blade in there, you just take the plastic putty knife. That'll smooth out the drywall mud. Now, the other thing that you're going to need, and the reason we supply this Lexon blade, which is the soft plastic, to use to knock down the drywall mud. You'll see that in the video. You can't find these anywhere. If you go into your, big stores, hardware stores, they don't carry the Lexon blade. You got to go to a commercial supplier. So you need this to make it work effectively, to spread out that drywall mud. And these work very good. They're inexpensive. We do make it available so you don't have to run out and try to find it. If you're in a rural area, you might have to drive 100 miles to get one of these. So we do make this thing available. Now, one of the things that it happens to us while we were doing the remodeling projects, every once in a while we would chip the edge of it. Now, if you get that, you'll notice it right away because you'll get a little line in the drywall mud when you drag it down. Just take like a sanding sponge, just sand the edge till you see that chip come out and it's smooth again, then you can use it. Because, in the house things happen. So that's how you're going to use the Lexon blade. Now, the sponge is important because before you paint, you just got to get it wet. You want to kind of smooth out the rough areas on the drywall. You don't have to do the ceiling because you can't feel it. You're just going to do the walls. One other thing the sponge comes in handy for, and you're going to use this while you're texturing. When you're texturing your walls or even parts of your ceiling, you might have some crown molding up there around the floor. You're going to have baseboards. Around door openings, you're going to have casings. And what's going to happen is as you're using the texture tool, you're going to get close to those edges and you're going to get a little bit of drywall mud on the baseboards and a little bit on the casing. Sometimes you might even get a little bit on a cabinet or crown molding. You'll get a little bit of drywall mud on it. Now, the drywall mud's water-based. So if it actually dried and you noticed it the next day, then you could still take a sponge with water and wipe it off, and it's water-based, it'll come off. But it's a lot easier to do it when the drywall mud's still wet. So when you do a section of the wall and you get down to the end, just take the sponge, get water in it, wring it out, go along the baseboard and just wipe off the drywall mud you might get on the baseboard or on the casings or around the crown molding. It'll save you a lot of time when you get ready to paint and you look and say, well, look at this drywall mud, I'm not going to get that off. So just take a couple seconds when you do the wall, wipe off the baseboards casings with the sponge, and you can keep moving. It'll save you some time. So we make available the sponge that you can also use that when you get the drywall mud on a Lexon blade. It can use it to wipe that off, and before you paint on the walls, you use the sponge to smooth that out. So quick review on that. Now, what's nice about this is when you're doing a lot of projects, you're looking at the drywall mud and everybody says you got to thin it out. What's nice about this is you're just going to go down to your home supply store and you're going to look for regular joint compound, all-purpose joint compound. Now this bucket right here weighs about 60 pounds, so it's kind of heavy. And one of these containers, what's nice about it, you take the lid off, you don't have to mix it with water. In fact, if there's a little bit of water on top, you want to take that off, just take a putty knife and mix it around. And then you can put the applicator right into it and start texturing. You want the mud a little thicker because when you're going to go over and knock down orange peel, you want to be able to cover it. If you thin the mud out, now it gets too thin to where it's not going to cover it. And the look you get on the textured walls is going to look better with the thicker mud. Now you don't have to worry about, do I have the right texture? Do I have enough water in it? You don't have to worry about that. Just open the lid up and get started with it. This one container of drywall joint compound, the nice thing about it, it can be used like if you're patching a hole, you're covering up little scratches and stuff, you just use a joint compound. You don't have to buy anything else. To do an average room, say 12 by 12 room, like a bedroom, ceiling and walls, one of these 60-pound containers is about enough to do a 12 by 12 room. This runs just under $15 for one container, which means if you got roughly 1,000 square foot house, maybe 6 or 7 of these is all you're going to need. So you're probably going to be under $100 for drywall mud to retexture 1,000 square feet. The equipment that you would need if you don't have any of it and you need to purchase all of it from us, it's going to be just under $50. If you just need the tool head, you're looking at $14.95. So if you had to purchase everything you need to texture the equipment and material on 1,000 square foot, you're going to be anywhere from $100 to say $150 to do the whole project. Very inexpensive. Just to give you an idea, if you had to go into a house or bring a contractor in to take all the popcorn off the ceiling on 1,000 square feet, you're looking at about $1,500 to maybe $2,000 labor just to take the popcorn down. Then you'd have to pay labor to texture the walls and the ceiling. So you can literally save easily on an average house of say 1,000 square feet, $2,000 to $3,000 doing this yourself. So the savings is tremendous. The amount you're going to spend doing it is very little. To get started on it, it's very easy. Depending on what tools you need, if you just need a tool head and you got everything else, you're looking at $14.95 to get started, plus shipping and handling. If you need the other items that we have, we can make those available. We can ship them to you. So it's an easy project. If you want to get started right away, call us up, order it, and we can get you started right away.